Director Matthew Vaughn has come out in recent days saying how there's been an issue with Marvel and that they've just been putting out too much too quickly. And according to this headline from Variety, Marvel needs to make less films and bad VFX has effed up everything, says Matthew Vaughn. Maybe we need a little bit of time off from superhero films. Now, people who don't know, Matthew Vaughn is the director who made like X-Men First Class, Kick-Ass, the Kingsman movies. So he understands how to adapt a comic book movie. So I'm not just saying this is just some random outsider. I mean, this is someone who's been within the Hollywood industry, not necessarily working for Marvel, but he's done these type of movies and he knows what he's talking about when it comes to it. This is a quote from him. I generally don't know what's happening with the superhero genre in the sense that I don't think maybe we all need a little bit of time off from it. Maybe someone will make something so great that we will get excited again. Superhero films are films. It's a film that has superheroes in it. I think what happened was that they became superheroes and the film part wasn't that important. Man, I can't read today. But yeah, I mean, I agree with him because Marvel started off pretty strongly when they were trying to tell individual stories and they all happened to build off of each other and build up to something else, which we got with the Avengers. But sometime between now and then, they drifted away from that where they were focusing less on the individual pieces and more of the collective whole, where it's like, this is just a superhero universe and each individual movie is less relevant to it. And I can understand the whole mindset of the sum is greater than the whole of its parts sort of thing. Or at least that's what I think they're trying to go for. But when the parts are built up of nothing, then that's pretty much what you have with the final product. And that's why we've been seeing the box office results suffering since then. And Matthew Vaughn, he goes on, when you're making a superhero movie, you sort of have to work harder because you've got to make people believe it, he continued. That's why X-Men First Class was pretty grounded. We said in the Cuban Missile Crisis, they had relatable human problems and it wasn't relying on CG. Okay, the CG is kind of, I mean, to me, that's usually like more of like a cop out. I mean, I do agree that there's too much CG in Marvel movies nowadays, but the problem isn't necessarily the CG. The problem is they're trying to use the CG to mask a bad story where they don't tell a good story. What they're just trying to do is almost just have pretty visuals distract you so you don't pay attention to the lack of story, lack of character development, and all that such. I mean, that's usually the issue with CG, but I mean, that's a whole other video I could do about that thing right now. But I do agree with his main point, though, where they're just putting out too much too quickly. And the fact of the matter is people understand that is an issue with them. And we got this article from the Direct back in April 2nd of this year. Marvel Studios will be reducing its movie output. This is from Forbes back in July. Bob Iger says Disney will cut back flood of Marvel movies and series. Frankly, it diluted focus and attention. So people have been saying this for some time now, for like the last year or two, that, yeah, they need to reduce the content. But look at what's going on right now. Marvel Studios after Loki, what's coming up for the MCU? Now, this is from October 11th, so just under 2 weeks ago, and it has a slate of all the stuff that's been announced that they're actually going to be putting out. So you got the Marvels, which is coming out in a few weeks, What If Season 2, Echo Season 1, yada, yada. But I mean, you look at this slate here, there's over 20 things that they have between now and 2027 or May of 2027. So just a few years, this is what they're going to be putting out. And this is just an insane amount. And I noticed that it also doesn't have certain things like Daredevil Born Again or Ironheart. Those are things that they announced, but they don't actually have release dates for that. So those are off this list. But this is just an initial list, and there could be more on here right now. I mean, to me, that's just an insane thing to have all this stuff when they're trying to claim, yeah, we're reducing the content. I mean, if they're reducing the content, I mean, then what did they actually have planned before all this? I mean, this is just a huge amount. I mean, there's probably like a half dozen things that they're coming out each year. I mean, no one can really get ahead. I mean, you can't tell me that the studio can focus on producing good stuff if they're producing a half dozen different either movies or shows each year. And the thing is, we got this news too, where apparently Kevin Feige was forced to announce that they're going to be doing Armor Wars and Fantastic Four. And this is also telling with the studio, where if this is true, people are basically trying to play the blame game about like, oh, this wasn't my doing, this was someone else. I mean, it really doesn't show a cohesive vision or like a strong front at the studio when they're basically blaming each other for shortfalls. And again, I mean, this is something that's completely avoidable. They don't have to do this. And it's like, it's something that I have established that they understand that this is a problem, that they have too much stuff coming out too quickly. And I guess they make it think, at least it appeases shareholders because it looks like they're doing something. But to me, all it does is show that they don't know what they're actually doing over there. They're just trying to throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And as a result, we've been seeing them floundering at the box office. And so far, there's just no one at the studio who've been trying to actually make this work. I mean, Matthew Vaughn, for all of his credit, I mean, yes, he's not working at Marvel right now, so maybe he doesn't know the inner workings about why they're doing stuff. But to me, that just goes to show that they're putting internal politics at the studio level ahead of the quality of the content. And until they actually start working together and fixing that, we're just going to see more of the same, at least more of the same in the last couple of years. And it's not going to return back to the glory days of like the early phases of the MCU. But let me know what you think about all this in the comment section below. And if you like this video, make sure you click that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date with the latest news. Thank you.